of these. So welcome to our first ever Microsoft Student Ambassadors Python workshop that is going to be very much focused on the introduction to Python, along with a little bit of some AI based on Python, and we can finally jump in. So we're just setting up a few logistics, again, the usual, a few people who needed to log into Teams. I personally had my own delays because of transport and getting here. I will apologize for that again. But now everything should be up to par, so we can definitely get started. So let me just switch screen that I'm presenting from here. Let's see. Switch it to here. Okay, that's people's chat, so no one needs to see that. Right, so we'll start it the way we usually start, which is just logging into Microsoft Learn. I'd already logged in, so for those of you who still aren't familiar with Learn, this is what it is. It's an online learning platform created by Microsoft and based on a lot of developer technologies that have to do with Microsoft's developer ecosystem, which runs from everything from Windows to Azure to mobile development, web development to game development. It's a long list of stuff. You can check this out if you're a developer, if you're an IT worker, if you're even a financial and industry worker who just needs better organization or data management skills. So today, as we said, we're going to be jumping into Python. So what I'm actually going to do here is just go straight to where it says products and say browse all paths. This is where I can just check out all learning paths that are available. And from here, I'll just search Python, right? I already have checked out a few paths, but I think the easiest way is if we start straight up from the beginning. Now, some of you have already jumped into the beginning of what Python has to offer. I gave some of you steps within the WhatsApp group during this past week, which were mainly based on, putting together things like, installing Python into your PC, making sure everything's running, and we'll start from there, but I'll just jump back into some of these basics just so that everybody understands what's going on, and then after that, we can go into the main parts of it. So, setting up your Python developer environment with Visual Studio Code. So for those I are told, today's module, you can of course watch all of this online and then learn first and then try it out on your own. But the first things that you would be meant to do, and it's already showing you, this would take about 12 minutes as long as you've got a great internet connection, which I know is not the case for everyone, but hopefully it's enough. So what's needed here is you set up our Python environment. We'll be using Visual Studio Code and installing Python itself. This module is part of the following learning paths, which is taking your first steps with Python or Python basics with Wonder Woman. Yes, you read that right, Wonder Woman. I'll actually take a second to look at that, but let's try and look at just the basics of what Python is, and then I'll show you a bit about how you can install it and we can get into everything else. So this module will build a Python development that will allow you to learn about Python and many types of applications. You'll learn how to run Python code in interactive mode. You also learn how to use Visual Studio Code to create a Python code file, write Python code in the file, and then run said file. By the end of this module, you will have installed tools on your computer to move forward with the goal of building real applications with Python. Now, just some quick objectives here. Determine which version of Python, if any, is installed in your computer. Install Python 3, start Python interactive mode to run Python code at a time. Install Visual Studio Code, Python, and the Python extension in Visual Studio Code. Right, creating a Python script file and then writing Python code in Visual Studio Code and then running the Python file by using Python command line tool. So let's load up Python. Again, I'm having camera issues for those who might be wondering why you can't see my face. Tried installing, uninstalling some drivers. It's literally hit or miss at this point. So very sorry about that. Okay, as in previous module, before you begin writing Python code, you'll need to install a few tools. So for most of you who had been trailing the progress during the group, I said we just mainly focus on, let me just try something here quickly. I said we just mainly focus on getting Python and getting Visual Studio Code. I'll show you just a quick version of how to do that. So it's showing here one clear problem that tends to happen when people are using Python. Some people installed Python years ago and still try to use that version of old installation file, which I know is common this side. But going to be using it long, and it's actually said that versions of Mac OS and Linux have Python 2 pre-installed. But again, you'll need the extra step of installing. Now, to check if Python is already installed in your computer, let me change my sharing screen here because right now it's only showing the web browser. Let me make sure it shows everything. Stop sharing live, share, just say share my desktop. There we go. Okay, now it's sharing my whole desktop. You'll be able to see this. Okay, short menu, just command prompt or just type CMD. Just give it a second to catch up there. There you go. All right. Now that it's showing CMD, if I click, let me try and show the following command here, which says pi 2 dashes then version, should dash version. I click that, it's already showing I've got Python 3.74, which I guess I actually might need to update later, but for the purposes of this, it'll be fine. And here 3.80, you can actually be past 3.8. Python. So now the next step would be installing Python 3 if you don't have it. Please tell me in the question and answer session. I know some of you are trying to contact me through WhatsApp. Please try and talk to me in the question and answer session if you're having issues, and if you are using maybe Linux or Mac OS and need to see some of these steps, because I know most of us are using Windows, but just in case. Right. Going back to this, if we just go, this would be the Python download page. Let me open this in another tab, open it here. It's showing again download Python version 3.9.0 and start there. This will, again, you can look for different versions. So for Windows, Unix or Linux, Mac OS and everything else. All of this, by the way, you can check out some portable or online and offline install versions, because I know not all of us might have enough data to just continue logging on or installing this offline or online. I mean, you might prefer to install offline. There is the option to do that. You just need to know when you want to get into that. Right. Now, going back to the main issue, when you locate and run the install application, you unfortunately run the whole installation again because I've already installed it. But once you've run everything, you check for the Python version again, which we already have, and you can use Python as interactive mode to write and run code. Now just Give me a second here. Just need to try something. Load this as a separate. Switch screens again. Share another screen. Come back to. All right. So if we switch back to here. Right, using Python's interactive mode. So now that Python 3 is installed, we can try it writing one line of code to see if it's working. As is written here, this tiny line of code won't win you any awards for software design, but it's the first step all software developers take as they begin their learning journey. Now, in this module, you learn that there are two workflows for writing and running Python code. Use the Python interpreter's interactive mode to write and run one line of Python code at a time. Write the Python code in a script file, then use command line tools to run the contents of the script file. Interactive mode allows you to experiment with Python without having to go through an additional setup. So it's great for learning new things, but it's limited. After you leave it, your code is gone forever. So simply put, it's essentially meant to test out Python code, but it's not really going to do anything. So again, we'll go back to command prompt. You're supposed to write the following line of code, pi-3. So let me show you. Pi-3. Gonna have to keep switching modes a lot here. Let me see. Okay, there. Sorry about that. It's showing pi-3 here. Okay. If I press enter on that, let's see. Type help, copyright or credits, a license for more. It should start interacting. Ensures that you have a working version of Python 3. Let me see here. Optional flag ensures now you should see this output. Since I actually got an output that we're in, here it is, right here, after showing all the information for Python. The three, some people would call them less than signs, but yeah. And then now to write our first line of Python code, which is something you guys should all be used to by now, print hello world. So again, that's this right here. And for those who have been used to the syntax for C# maybe, you might have noticed this would have been different, printf or so on. In Python, we can just write print and that'll be enough. But let me see here. I think some of you are not able to see this very well. See if I can make the screen a little bigger, if that helps with anything. Right, now print. Hello. Oh, sorry. I have to put in some Okay, you're connected. It's reconnecting. Yeah, oh no, you can say it. My mic is off. So now I can move your business to the cloud, the which allows you to C#. But underline your hosting. Munadu nzwezvo. Munadu nzwezvo guy crazy. How much is it? As it? I'm not sure now. But it's pretty cheap. Depends on the package, yeah. The most basic package because that's is very 30 megabytes. So yeah. Then the guy was okay. Alright, let me jump back in. Alright, sorry guys. Again, we had a power outage of all things. But again, back online. Right, so as we were saying before, the idea is to just print hello world. So let me go back to sharing my command prompt screen. What's this? There we go. So if I just simply type hello space world, this is pretty simple. Most of you should have no problem with this. And the easier part about it being Python now is you'll notice there's really no other syntax required. Let's press enter and hello world. Doesn't look as glamorous as I'm assuming some people wanted to look, but that's pretty much it, right? Choose nothing else. It's just like that. Let me see if I can help a few more people reconnect here and we can continue because the whole class got disconnected. Let me see. All right, but closing interactive mode. When you're closing interactive mode, you simply use the command exit and then opening bracket, and that should be fine. So if we actually type exit here, press enter, and we've literally left interactive mode. That was Python interactive mode, but now we'll jump into Visual Studio and get into proper Python code, or at least code that doesn't disappear as soon as we're done with it. Okay, let's continue. Next step would be installing Visual Studio Code. Switch to that screen. All right, now on the screen where you are supposed to install Visual Studio Code, you've already seen how you can run Python line by line using Python's interactive mode. Interactive mode is useful for, interactive mode is useful for when you want to experiment with a few lines of code. The downside is once you leave it, all the code you've written is gone forever. Now, of course, everyone wants to write proper programs that last and continue to work and aren't essentially saved just, their code is not saved just in RAM. So now we'll have to, you can use whatever code editor you want, and I'm actually start with that, but this is where Visual Studio Code is coming in. Despite just being a code editor that's created by Microsoft, it is one of the most robust and powerful code editors ever due to its extension support and the fact that you could probably run or at least write code for almost anything on it. And there's usually a lot of extensions that help you to at least either test out that code or run it a little better or have a better idea of what's going on. Now, to continue installing Visual Studio Code, download. Okay, let me see here. Double check. Okay, yeah, it's working again. Cool. Great. Okay, so this is the install. You again choose for whichever version that you wish to, whichever operating system that you're using. So Windows, Debian, or essentially what's it called, Linux, and of course Mac OS 10.10 and plus. Now, again, hopefully you guys have already installed Visual Studio Code, so we don't have to go there, but I will show you my own personal copy of it and we can continue from there. So let's see here, back to where we were exactly. Right, start the install, you install Visual Studio Code. There's one thing that I will put as a point that some of you might not have noticed, which is installing the Visual Studio Code extension for, the Python extension for Visual Studio Code. So I'll start up my copy of code. Let's see here, share this. All right, so these are actually a few of some other projects I ran in the past, but start from scratch, right? Clear, open screen. There's already some extensions that want me to try and check some things out here, but we'll do that later. Let's continue here by actually checking out the extension area. So you can go file, I believe. Oh no, sorry, where is it again? View, selection, edit. Okay, you can just click this icon here. This is for extensions. Right, so it's already showing some of mine which are installed already. Let me see if I can just spread this out and you can check them out more. C, C++, Code Runner. This is actually a very useful extension. Flutter and Dart support, but also have to scroll down here. Here's Python. So this is the Python extension. If you're already using Visual Studio Code, you can click where it says extension and just search Python and install that one, just that one. There are some other ones which can come in which are useful, but just the Python one should be enough. So we can at least close the extension page for now. No real need to use that, and put this toolbar back and jump into running our actual first bit of code with Untitled debug, run online code. Okay, let me switch back to Microsoft Learn screen. You guys can check that out. We just did a knowledge check. What it did was ask me the purpose of interactive mode, which is essentially just to test single lines of code. Continue again, as usual. Every time you complete something on Microsoft Learn, you gain experience. And the idea is with each bit of experience you learn and every achievement you unlock, there's something that can obviously help you understand this better, but also will add to you being able to qualify for certain vouchers in case you're trying to go for certification exams, or just go into the certification exam for starters because you know exactly what's likely going to come in it. So let's continue to our first step, which is creating our first Python program. Let me just check on something real quick on the side and then we continue here. All right, let's continue. So, creating our first Python program. This is essentially, in this module, you will create Python code files and execute that code inside Visual Studio Code. Write code to send a text message to the command line. Write code to accept user input from command line and understand why compilation and runtime errors occur and what to do next. This module is stated for 26 minutes. We might take a little less than that because we're kind of just jumping through a few steps, but again, prerequisites, a Python 3 version, Visual Studio Code, Python tools installed, which are already, there are some recommended tools such as PyLint, which are already there. So let's just jump in over here. Right. Let's see here. Good. Okay. Great. Now, let's get into the next part. So our first exercise, again, will be in simple hello world. But first of all, let's create a folder for our Python project. So I'll go back to my desktop, show you a folder that we can use. And here it's saying you can name the folder anything you like, such as Python or Learn. And look, that's up to you. Some people apparently prefer to get used to command line and start running everything in command line. This is Windows, you can still run it in your normal GUI, no problem. So let me share my desktop window and I'll show you what's going on there. So this is my desktop. Yes, it's very colorful, no comments. And what we're gonna do is create a folder called Learn. And in fact, I actually want to create another one called Python, just because we're going to be running a lot of Microsoft Learn projects. So just in case, there we go. So Learn, then Python. Let's jump back into this part of things. Right, opening Visual Studio Code and opening the folder that we've created. So if we jump into Visual Studio Code, let's close this. Let's see, you can actually just click open folder here, or you could have gone to file, then open folder. If we just scroll back from the start from our desktop, then Learn here, double click, then Python, then we select this folder. This is essentially the folder that we're working from. Everything is going to be stored in here. Everything's going to pretty much work in here, and that's going to be great. Now, since Visual Studio Code is running a few updates in the background, but that shouldn't be a problem. Right, so now that that's done, let's go back here. Create and save a new file. So I can select file, new file, this adds a new tab. Let me see if I can just, not sure this will come out really nicely, but hopefully it looks okay to you guys. So new file, new file, here we go. And when we want to, we can save it as hello.py. So let's actually just start by Control S, and then hello.py. That's how you save a Python file. Let me fix my spelling error here. I'm good with code, guys, not with spellings. Very sorry. Okay. So now in this file hello.py, let me actually see if I can just make this a little easier. In fact, let's maximize the screen so that you guys can see this easier. So this is hello.py, it's the full file, everything's working, no problem. In this set file, if I try to, let's see here, check this out, and again, we can just run hello world like we did last time. So it's just print, opening parenthesis, hello. Let me go with hello ambassadors instead, just to keep things a little fresh. You can just save that, Control S, save. And then once we do that, we can save it, and then we will need to execute the program. So I believe I can run it within Visual Studio Code because I installed the Python extension. And let me just try that here, run. Let me see, my terminal window is a little small. Let me expand it. There we go. If you scroll down here, it says hello ambassadors. Code was running 0.129 seconds. You know, that's just Visual Studio Code bragging about how quickly it compiled it. But there we go, we're done. We can continue now. The other line is interpreted. Oh, sorry, maybe this is interesting. Two lines will appear, which is the first line, which is the command to compile and execute the code. So if you can check here, python-u, it goes to the location of my file. Then the second one is hello world by hello ambassadors. Success. Now, some people might have gotten an error. It's actually showing a screen for in case you did get one. Move this aside. Let's see here. There we go. In case you did get an error, it's all a case of checking your syntax, of course. Now, thankfully, Visual Studio Code, like any other Visual Studio product, will usually show you where the line has a problem, right? So you can jump in, check this out, see what needs to be fixed, and we can continue from there. Now, let me see here. This again is, so how does your program work? Just a quick describe of how everything actually worked out. You invoke a function named print. A function contains code that works together to complete a single task in a software system. The function is given a name so that you can call it by name to invoke its functionality. The print function's only job is to send information to output, and that output can be displayed via command line or terminal window. Let me see. Some functions allow you to pass an argument, which the function can use to complete its task. In this task, you send the print function a literal string containing your message. Your pass arguments inside of the function invocation operator. Sorry, you pass arguments inside of the function invocation operators. A literal string is a hard-coded value containing alphanumeric characters. Essentially, when we wrote hello world, what it actually did was understand the following characters, H-E-L-L-O, and then put an empty space and W to start the world for it, although that would be an A since we run ambassadors, and continued from there. In our scenario, there's only one line of code. If there were more, it would work from the top to the bottom. Then after it is executed, it would exit the program and return control to the operating system. So I can actually just put this a little more interesting. So if we jump back into if we jump back right into our program here, it says hello ambassadors, right? But we could actually go enter, just print extra words, and by extra words, I'm actually going to write extra words. So if we do that, save our program again, and then run the code from here, let's see. So now it says hello ambassadors, extra words. So as I was saying, it will read each program line by line from the top to the bottom. So we start a deal with hello ambassadors, then extra words. So hello ambassadors came out first, then extra word was second. Always remember that when you're writing your more complex and serious Python programs, that the code starts right at the top and then goes down to the bottom. Right, continuing. Hello name, which is the next part of our exercise. I'll just give this a second here. I need to fix something on my screen. Stop sharing this. Share. There we go. Make sure command prompt is okay. Sorry, just give me a second, everyone. Let's see here. Now, let's see here. I actually have some words from just the network. Okay, mic was on. Can I use a different IDE? Oh, I'm very, very sorry. If anyone wants to use a different IDE, it's okay. It's completely okay. You don't necessarily have to use Visual Studio Code. What we're doing with Visual Studio the idea was to start from scratch, right? So there's very different skill levels here. I know some of you guys are already pretty well adept with Python. You can jump in and talk about the much more, and deal with the much more serious parts of Python programming, and that's awesome. But unfortunately, not everyone is as skilled. So just because everyone is not as skilled, we thought Visual Studio Code was the best place for every beginner to start and gain the basics. Then, of course, after that, some of you are using full IDEs, which are based on nothing but Python, such as PyCharm, which are amazing for what they do. So it's okay if you want to do that, but we thought that since some of the stuff we're starting with today is basic and is more introductory, you might not need to install something that's more intense, to say the least. So the second exercise is hello name. What we will build, you'll build on the preceding exercise to prompt users for their name to deliver a customized message. So we're going to learn a trick here, which is commenting out some code. Let's switch back to the command prompt window. Not command prompt, sorry, Visual Studio window. Just give me a second. Right. So let's jump back in. Let's see here. So if we share the screen that has Visual Studio Code again, see here, stop sharing. Switch back to this, share. Let's just share the whole screen. There we go. If we load up Visual Studio Code again, what we can do is if we put a hash, like a hashtag, whichever you call it, if we put that in front of all our words, all our lines of code, rather, what it should do, sorry, I forgot to press shift, is comment out everything. So you can do it this way. I prefer to leave a space just so that you see everything, but you're gonna have to get rid of that space for when you're running your code later, because Python might have some issues with that. Indentation errors are what they're called, but we'll jump into that later. So we're gonna change this program just a little bit, and we're gonna call it hello.name, but right now we're just running it within the same file. You can create a new file, copy text the code there, and that might be easier for you, but we're gonna try it with a new file completely. So just write print, what is your name? Sorry. Right, then write name is equal to input. Now, if you notice, as I'm typing, Visual Studio will again give suggestions on what I want to type. It tends to make everything a little easier, but I'm just going a little old school for today, just so that everyone can see what exactly I'm typing. It's a little slower paced, but it helps. Right, then plus name. I'll let you guys check this out here just so that you understand what this new bit of code means. So the code example presents three new ideas. The first line is similar to the preceding exercise where you're merely printing a string. The second line performs three distinct operations. To begin, you invoke the input function, which retrieves the keyboard input from the end user. So the program will say, what is your name? And when the person writes a string of characters or whatever their name is, that name is going to be, due to the input function, it's going to be stored by the program. Right, when the user types information and select enter, the information is returned from the input function. Some functions, such as print function can't finish their work quietly. The function sends an alphanumeric text to output and then exits without returning any values. The other functions can return a value when they exit. In this case, the input function returns all alphanumeric functions that are entered to the user. What should you do with the returned input function? You need to temporarily store it for use in the next line of code. To do that, you create a variable. But as I was saying, it's supposed to be stored. Sorry, to create the variable, right? In Python, you can create a variable by merely choosing a variable name that isn't already in use and isn't one of Python's special keywords. In this case, create a variable called name that will store the alphanumeric characters that are returned to the input function. So if you noticed where we said name is equal to input, that's when we're creating the variable name. Right. Just to recap, line 2, perform the following operations. Called the input function to retrieve user input. Created a new function called name. Performed an assignment setting name to the returned value from the input. Right. Save and execute a program by using the py utility. So this is the last part. So to see your program in action, you could use the green arrow in Visual Studio Code as you did in the last exercise, but this time I want to demonstrate that there are many different ways to run your code. So let's use the Visual Studio Code terminal. Now in the terminal window, below the code editor, place your mouse cursor on the command prompt and type the following command and select enter. So just to show you exactly what's being demonstrated here, let's see. There we go. Okay, so if we click here where it says terminal, this is essentially Windows PowerShell, which is very, very similar to command prompt, to put it in the simplest of terms. That's an oversimplification, but it's essentially true. But as I was saying, okay, so we jump in here. What we're gonna do is say py hello.py. So if you just py hello, let's save this first. I actually hadn't, Control S, so that's done. Hello py. Please take a seat. And if you click enter there, if you see here, it's already saying what is your name. So since it's already written what is your name, let me see if I can just expand this so that you guys can see this better. Maybe you might be able to see it. Right, so here it says what is your name since I pressed enter. And because I said that, now I can write my name, right? Clint. And if I do that and click enter, hello Clint. So essentially what these 3 lines of code allowed us to do was, when it prints out the string, what is your name? And as you said, the variable name will now be associated to the input function, meaning that due to the input function, whatever string we print in is going to be essentially accepted by the program and stored under the variable name here. And then there's the next command, which is print hello, and there's space here, but in that space we're supposed to, what plus name essentially means that print out what the variable name has stored, which is my name, which is Clint. So hello Clint. So just to see here, the py command launches Python's compiler. You provide the source code file as an argument. If you installed Python correctly, your command prompt is working in the same directory as your code file. This should work. Otherwise, you'll need to use the full path and the full name of your code file. So if you can see here, it's actually saying C users Clint to stop learn in Python. So the long version of this would be that we would have to, if you're running it maybe from command prompt straight directly, you would have to first navigate to this folder and then be able to run the py hello.py command. Right, what are keywords? Right, sorry, here. Keywords are command built into the programming language that have a special meaning in Python. You'll learn many of these Python keywords through all the modules. And yeah, the more you learn about Python, the more you learn about keywords, their functions, and which words to use and not to use. Because as I said, you can name a variable anything except for the name of a Python keyword. Because when you write the name of a keyword, it now thinks you're using a keyword. The opening and closing parentheses are function invocation operators when placed to the right of a function name. The equal sign is the assignment operator, is to assign, these are operators now that we're dealing with, sorry. Operator is a character that instructs Python compiler to perform special operations. You've already seen some of them. So the parentheses, which are opening and closing brackets, the equal sign is an assignment operator that's used to assign a value to a variable. The plus sign is the string concatenation operator. As you'll see in the next unit, it's also the addition operator for when you're working with numbers, but only when you're working with numbers. So when we put it here as plus name, just to show you, was plus name here. And this was to concatenate this variable. Essentially, pull out whatever data is stored in this variable, whatever string is stored in that variable, and present it. But if you're using numbers, then it would be a totally different result. It would just add the numbers, like math. Then the hashtag sign is used to comment out operators, which instructs the compiler to ignore all code or the text that comes after. Right now, just need to read some question and answer and comments here for a second. So if you don't mind, I'm going to have to switch screens for a moment. There we go. We can just go back to the exercise here. All right, let me see what's being said. All right. Okay. I think that's okay. This is taken care of. Let's see. All right. Let's see here. So let's finish up this part. It shouldn't take us the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then we can jump in and actually have a special guest that's going to jump in. One of our own members. We're going to jump into a simple math exercise, which is adding numbers, and then we'll have one of our own members actually present something that he made using Python. Due to the nature of how we started, I never actually got into this, but if there's one thing that you should all note about Python is that it is arguably, what, to put it metaphorically, a sword with untold possibilities. To put it simply, Python can simply sometimes seem like anything you want it to be. So what I mean by that is we can jump from using Python for simple programs like we're writing here, but of course, going into building full desktop applications, it's been used in almost every operating system in some way or another. And what I mean by that is creating applications or programs for almost any operating system. And I mean this dating back as far as early Windows, early Linux, early Mac OS, old Nokia phones, if you remember those, like, well, maybe not the ones that had the green screens, but the first Nokia feature phones actually could have applications built by Python. You can still build certain Android programs and even certain iOS programs with Python implementations in them. You can build web pages and web apps using Django, which is Python again, and it's become even more popular as of late, simply due to how popular it's become in AI and machine learning. So everything that has to do with AI and machine learning, there's a lot of Python integration there, and due to things such as Tensor, you find that Python's popularity just keeps on growing due to how many things you can use it for. But let's jump into the second exercise really quickly and finish that up. And once we're done, we can jump into the presentation from Given, which is actually an AI-based program that he made using Python. Now, jumping back into the exercise. So this exercise is going to be about adding numbers, right? In this exercise, you learn about the values in your program, data types, and how to convert a value from one data type to another. Right, by using techniques like the ones presented in previous exercises, you create a new program that prompts the end user for two values, adds them together, displays the results, and along the way, you'll encounter new issues and solutions that will give you a deeper insight into how Python works. Right, so let's create a new file first and foremost. So we can actually, Visual Studio Code allows you to have tabs, just like you can in a browser, but we can't close at load.py and go file, new file. Let's close, put down the terminal for a second. Let's see here, go back to output. You can actually close the terminal for now. Sorry, the panel for now. And go back to, right. I'll see here, put up a new file, and we're supposed to save it as numbers.py. So let me share my screen again so you guys can see this. Let's see. Let's see here. Full desktop, please. Okay, there we go. Okay, right, so that's my screen again. Let's start by control this, save this as numbers.py. So here you go, .py.py, whichever one really works. Okay, in the new numbers.py file, type the following code. Print first number underscore number is equal to input. Print second number, same thing. Sum is equal to first number plus second number. Now you notice something here, and I'm sure that when we read this, we're actually going to figure this out. But Python, like many programming languages, when you're now layering, you can as separate words, just like you would if you were writing, I don't know, any language, right? So you can't just put a space there. So even though we wrote print first number here, which is basic text, so that's fine. Oh, forgot to add these. There we go. Basic text, which is not a problem here. When we're now declaring the variable for first number, it's first underscore then number will be equal to, then we use the input function again. I think you guys are used to this part already. We second number. Right. And now we declare one new variable, which is sum. So sum will actually be now the sum of the first number and the second number. So if you just sum equal to first number, right, plus second number. Now you can probably already see that there's now a difference in how we're using the plus sign from the last exercise, where we're using it to concatenate a variable. Now we're actually adding two numerical based variables. So you can't actually use first number plus second number if, let's say, you had written words, right? Let's say your first number and you write the letter A instead of the number 1. But just to show that off here, for the most part, this code example is almost identical to how you did in previous exercises. However, you did something subtly different with this line of code. Here, introduce what's called a temporary variable to hold a computed value that you'll use later in the program. In other words, you could have written the last line of code this way instead, print first number plus second number, which is true. We could have done that. But instead, we decided to introduce the sum variable. So why did we do this? It creates a temporary variable that makes your code more readable. In this case, you know that the last line of code will go more complex later in this exercise, and it might make that line shorter or more manageable, just to eliminate the addition, concatenation, and printing all in a single line of code. These are matters of judgment, and as a developer, you'll develop a style and personal preference about what looks readable to you. And of course, likely if you're working with someone, what looks readable to your customer or your program manager, and so on and so forth. So let's save the code, which you already have. Now to execute. Could do it the other way, we just do the terminal, but I'll just go with the run code approach. So it's already asking me to, let's see, print the first number here. So let me see if I can do that in the output window, because the output window might show me a bit different. Okay, yeah, exactly. So I'll have to run it in the terminal instead, because with the output window, I cannot enter variables. Py, this time it's numbers. We expand this for you guys to see. See, numbers dot py. Okay. Let's go with 2. Second number, let's go with 4. And there's a bit of an issue here. So, even execute the code. You will notice that this is not the desired output. It's writing 24 instead of what's it called, 6 for anyone who's forgotten their basic math. But this is because of the way we entered these data types. So what happened here is that when we entered this data, it's what's called a string, right? So a string can be alphanumeric, so letters, numbers, or even certain symbols. And what happens with the string is it's stored exactly as that. So 2 is not stored as the number 2, it's stored sort of as a character 2. So if I had actually written A here, as I was saying before, if I had written A and then B, it would have shown me AB, because what all it's doing is taking the 2 strings that I had put before and just sort of mashing them together to make one string. So the 2 characters, right, and then making them one string. So instead, what we need to do is convert these from the string data type or character data type into the integer values, which is essentially their number values. So it's already gone into talking about data types here, but let's just revise our code and work it out a bit. So this is the code that we wrote, except there are some different, this is similar to the code that we wrote rather, but there are some differences here. So if you notice, first number is now equals to int, then input within these parentheses, right? Second number again is also int, then input with these parentheses. What we're doing now is declaring that these values are integers, numbers. So essentially we have to turn them into numbers first. So let's go and edit our code. And what we essentially have to do is just write int, and add a parenthesis here, another one there. As it's showing int x, base is equal to 10, it's already showing that it's an integer in base 10. Very sorry. Going to the next one. Right. Int again, and some more parentheses here, and that should be done. Let's try and save the program, try and run it again. Py, see here, numbers.py, try this, enter. First number, 2 again, second number, 4 again. Our answer is now 6, as you can see. And what happened here is now 2 and 4 are not just being taken as characters, but they're actually being turned into their numerical values, 2 as we used to, 4 as we used to, and then those are added together like normal addition, and that's done. All right, here's a tip. The print method is flexible. It can display the string data type, the int data type, the float data type, and other data types that we haven't talked about yet. So that's why people essentially just always go back to print. So success here, in case there was an error, showing you how to fix that error for those who might be actually trying to do this practically as well. Right, revise the code to display a label in front of the sum value. So in case the next task is to format the last line of content to make it clear. So rather than the approach we took here, which was sum is equal to, print sum. Instead, we're going to go with something like print, then we write sum is equal to, or at least sum is, then we go with plus sum. So really what we're just doing is we just add a plus here, then let's see, opening and closing both of them, then write sum here, This is all just to make your code a little cleaner, a little nicer, easier to look at. Let's try and run the program again. py numbers apply. We've actually run this one quite a few times now. Again to second number. Let's try 3 this time, just to make sure everything's working properly. And enter. Let's see, we actually had an issue here. Let's see. Did I write something? Do you think this will work, and why not? This is actually an error. This problem seems to be related to concatenating a string to an int. So we have to revise that code again. So again, we have to, so what happened here is, since we had turned these 2 values into integers, these 2 values will again need to be turned into a string if you want to print the value of sum this way. So what we need to do is turn sum into a string again. So we can do that pretty simply. Just there we go. Then str, which will turn this into a string. Is this correct? It should be. Save this. Let's try running our little program again. So as you can see, despite this being a very simple program, you can actually end up with a few errors just due to not converting things properly. Let's go with 6 just to change this. So the sum is 8. Now it's worked properly. So just to recap here, choose good variables that lend readability to your code. Choose to introduce temporary variables if they help to increase the readability of your code. Use your best judgment. To perform mathematical operations, it first must be converted to a numerical data type. And if you want to perform math, you can use the int function to convert the value into an integer. If you attempt to use int to convert a string to an integer, the string isn't a value that can be converted, such as name. Hence, the end user will experience a runtime error. Runtime errors happen when the programmer doesn't anticipate issues with data or other potential logic issues. And if you've ever used a program, you might have run into a few once or twice. When you use numeric data, the plus sign symbol performs addition. You can call this function and pass its return value to another function. Use str to convert numeric value to a string. Right. To Given, if you're still logged on, which I'm sure you are. Very sorry about the delay. We're about to actually start your segment of things now, so be ready, please. Right, so this is a challenge that we can take on and continue, but I feel it's best we continue it just after that, because we'll have our knowledge, our solution, the knowledge check, and then we'll continue. But again, I always say this, I said this last time in our C# workshop, I prefer when people see what else they can do with something, or what's a cool thing that they can do with something, with the programming language rather. So instead of just directly going into more and more seemingly maybe mundane stuff, or let's show you something cool that Python can do, and then you guys might be a little more motivated to continue with these courses. So let's see here. Let me just switch some views for a second. Stop sharing this. I'm going to share the challenge window for a second whilst I check if Given is ready. Right. See here. It's just me for now. Make sure everything is okay for everyone else. Let's see here. Participants currently in this meeting. All right. Okay. Let me see here. I'll try and pitch in a call to Given, make sure he can join in. All right. Given, you there? Hello, we can hear you. We can hear you, Mike, that is, but I don't know if we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can barely hear you. You there, man? Hello?
Yeah, I'm there. Hello?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Great, we can hear you. Yeah, we can definitely hear you now. Are you
Maybe
ready to present?
Okay, here's the problem. Your call came in on my phone. Let me hang up a little bit.
Okay, sure. I think what you just need to do, make sure your PC is connected. Make sure it comes in on the PC. Don't answer it on the phone. Answer it on the PC. So if you need to reconnect, set some things up. That's fine. We can give you a few moments, and then yeah, you can hang up. Then we can continue.
Okay.
Sure. Great. We'll just let him continue a bit. Maybe just look at what the challenge we're presented with is showing. Then we'll continue with Given and then go into the challenge afterwards. So, code challenges throughout these modules will reinforce what you've learned and help you gain some confidence before continuing on. Now, right, sure. Now, this challenge prompts the user to build a calorie counter. So, Python can be used to check your weight, essentially, or at least how much you're eating. But let me see here. Okay. What was Given is setting up. Today's date, here's an example of the output from the program. Today's date, Thursday. Breakfast calories, 100. Lunch, 200. Dinner, 300. Snack, 400. And content for the whole day is 1,000. So what it essentially does is add these values shown over here and then comes up with 1,000. So the requirements, you're going to need to create a new file, of course, write the necessary code, and then create this output. So we'll let you guys think about that for a second. But whilst you guys do try and work that out, we'll get ready to see if Given can join in. Let's see here. Try this again. I think perhaps there might be a slight issue with how he's presenting. Let me see if things can get sorted out from here. Let's see here. Okay, let's see here. What's going on with Given side of things? Let me see. Okay. Again, you guys can continue to check out this challenge before we continue. I'll try and help out Given's technical issues from my end so that we can get him to present. No, got it. Okay, so unfortunately, still having more issues. So let's try and continue from here with the challenge for a second, whilst he resets up his machine. I think he's having problems there. But okay, so what this is essentially asking us to do, it's going to take note of the date. It's going to allow us to enter how many calories we had, and then it'll add them up and tell us how many calories come out. So this should all depend on whatever we put in, right? Whatever we input. So if I'm not wrong, that this is just spitballing here. In fact, how about this? Anybody who wants to try and give me a quick answer in the question and answer session, I mean, in the question and answer section, you can try that before I give you a quick answer and, not do the work for you. And you can tell me how you think you're supposed to put this together. If you can put that together, then we continue. Right. I'm gonna give Given another call and then we'll jump back into this once that's done. But I think he's set up now. All right, let's see here. Okay. Okay, calls passing through. Again, anyone who has an idea as to how we can answer this challenge while this is going on, please, whilst the call is being sent, please tell me in the question and answer section. So you can just, for those who are viewing on mobile devices, you can just click where it seems like there's a question mark on a chat box, sort of, right at the top, and you can just click ask a question and type whatever you want in that area. So for anyone who might be interested. Okay, let me see here. Come on, not a single question, people? Come on. Not even one person. I'm gonna ask people in the class, by the way, since people online are quiet about this. Okay, Gift, do you have any idea how we're supposed to work this out? Sorry, what? No, please. Any idea on how we're supposed to sort this out?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, say it.
I think just have the open in VS Code.
No, we're not starting with something simple as open in VS Code. Of course we're doing this in VS Code. It's not sending. Oh, someone tried to send a question, they're saying it's not sending. Is it sending now? Okay, yeah, I think nope, still nothing. Hasn't sent. Yeah, if you click the small little, there's an arrow icon at the end of the message to send. Still nothing. Okay, there might be actually something going on there. All right. Okay, fine. Just ask the question since you're here. Just ask the question. I mean, just answer the question rather, since you're here.
Alright, I think to settle the data type variable.
Okay.
And then for the second part, we ask the user to input the calories, and then we add my calories and from the output.
Okay, so just for anyone who's listening, Abigail here said it's best we maybe try and find a variable for date and time, first of all. Then once we do that, we'll add the calories similar to when we're just entering the numbers in the last exercise. And then we essentially use the total for that. We print the total for that and the date and time. So let's see here. Since our man Given might be, we're gonna try and call Given one more time. Hopefully that'll work out. If it doesn't, then we'll try one last one. Okay, Yeah, he actually said he needs 5 minutes to reset everything, so I think we'll continue instead. Right, so let's continue. So let's go to our solution. We've already had one approach, very similar to mine, by the way. So if you look at the solution we've been given here, print today's date, right? Then date is equal to input. Whatever the person writes as the date is what's going to be the input. So we put a variable called date. Then breakfast, and since this is a number, we first initialize it as an integer, then input again, lunch, int input, dinner, int input, snack, int input. Then total is equal to breakfast plus lunch plus dinner plus snack. And print will be equal to print will be calorie content, then plus date. And you notice here that we put another plus because there's another integer coming up. I mean, another variable coming up, which is total, which will be turned into a string first. So I'm gonna sort of take the short way for this one. Very sorry. Just copy the code, present it on Visual Studio here. Give me a sec. Right, there we go. So firstly, we're actually supposed to have, we can just go Control New here. No, sorry, I'm in the terminal, so I can't do that. Let me first get rid of what I've written in the terminal. So here, let me undo that. Save everything. Right, if I Control New file, I'm supposed to save this as new.py, I believe. That's what our exercise had said. So I'm just going to copy paste the code since we had read it already. And as you can see here, it's pretty much done. Save this. So if we say py new.py, let's try that. So it's going to ask me for the date now. Let's see, today's on 5 December 2020, right? Enter that. Breakfast calories 200. Lunch calories 100. Oh, wow. Yeah, I messed that up. I pressed enter twice, which I wasn't supposed to. Let me try that again. Py new.py. Let's see if this works. All right, let's try this again. 5 December 2020, right? Let's see if that works. Breakfast calories 100, lunch calories 230, dinner 200, snack 100. Calorie content for 5 December 2020 is 630. So perfect, pretty much the way that Abigail had said it. This worked out fine, no problem here. Let me see if hopefully things have gotten a little better for our co-presenter. Let's see here. Just leave you guys checking out the solution there. We will go back to talk about it a little more. I just want to make sure that this part of the presentation will still come together. Let's see. Okay, so I think Given should be ready in a second. No, not important. Not right now. Not at the moment. Okay, see here. Everything came out proper here at this side. Let's finish up here and just finish up the exercise the way we're actually supposed to have done. And we will finish up this module the way we're supposed to have done. Then we'll jump into Given side of things next to that. And I'll actually show you a small presentation of just Python being used in AI and machine learning. Continue to our knowledge check, which is at the end of every module, by the way. So, which statement is false? All variables are of string data type by default. The printf function can work with several data types, including string, int, float, and others. You can use the same symbols for both addition and concatenation. You must convert integer values to string values before performing string concatenation. So I'm going to ask people again to help me answer this before I continue. Let's see. My friend here, help me out.
I'm still blind.
You're still what?
Blind.
He's still blind. Okay, fine. He's blind. He can see me, but apparently he's blind. But okay, let's try and ask someone else. Give and help me out.
Yeah, just gonna string.
Uh-huh.
I think all variables our string data by default. That is true.
I think that's true. Okay.
The second one I'm also sure.
Okay.
Use the same about addition concatenation. Then you must convert each the values to string values before performing string concatenation. That is also true. So my best case is the second one.
Is the one that's not true. Okay. Anyone else want to add to that or add their own thoughts? You think all of them are true? Okay. I'm going to unfortunately say,
I think the third one is not true because until we use the first name for concatenation.
yes.
What is it? Understand? But I think you have to specify it with the string with the third one I think is false.
Third one is false. Okay. I'm going to have to say the first one seems false for me. I might also be wrong, which is the fact that not every variable is string data type by default. But maybe I'm wrong. So here's what we're going to do. Let's jump to the second question. This is going to be interesting. You want to create a new variable to hold the count of items in inventory of items. You know what? No, let's say, so people wanted the third one, right? And Gift was saying the second. So between second and third, the print function can be used for several data types. That one actually is true. So instead, we're going to go with the third one, right? You must create a new variable. Let me check something real quick. You must create a new variable too. Sorry. I'll just finish this off and then we'll give Given a call. All right, you must create a new variable to hold the count of items in inventory on hand. Which of the following variable names is the best choice? So here, this is all about how, remember what I was saying, all programming languages have their different approaches to how you can name something that's essentially more than one word. So here we want to call it inventory count of hand or inventory count or something like that. And since it's supposed to be on hand specifically, so probably something that's closer to inventory count on hand. But there's more than one way of doing this. There's the underscore method. There's putting a capital letter on each word. There's inventory underscore count and inv dash count. I'm gonna say the bottom two just don't count because it's supposed to be inventory count on hand, which is different from the overall inventory count, just for anyone who's worked in a store or anything. So it's between these two. So which one is better here? The second one, which is capitalizing, or the first one, which is putting underscores? Anyone else? Okay, so everyone's going for the first one. Cool. Then the last one. What is the purpose of opening and closing parentheses next to a function name? A, they define the order of operations as in they do the math. They're the function invocation operators that instruct Python to execute the function. They instruct Python to return a value, or they instruct Python to display content to output. Which one are we going to go with? And by the way, people who are watching online might be a little slower to this. I'm really sorry, but if you can, throw in an answer. Okay, I'll still see it. Okay. Third one. What? Would you?
I think the second one.
Second one. Okay. They are the function invocation operators. Anything for me? Second one. Okay. Let's go. Second one. Let's check our answers. The first one is the one that most people have the most contention over. So let's see. Check answers, because, oh gosh, we got 2 wrong. So the third one is correct. Without parentheses, you're merely referencing the name of a function, not instructing Python what to do with it. But then here, while the variable name inventory counter plan satisfies many aspects of Python's guidance on naming variables, there's a shorter option available which would likely suffice. So I guess inventory count is likely the answer. I was not okay with it just because I thought there's a difference between inventory count and inventory count on hand. Chances are this would be correct though, so let's change it to that. Then this statement is actually true. You can use both the addition and concatenation with the plus sign. So I'm gonna go with this one and let's see if we're correct. Let's try and change that. And we got them all correct. So in the first one, okay, let's see if we can continue here. I wanted us to read it again, but I guess I'll just continue here. And this is summary. We're pretty much done with this part, etc., etc. I really just want to rush to the given part of things. So let's just unlock our achievement here. Again, guys should be doing this on your own, checking these things out, learning. The next one is actually an else-if statement. We'll just leave that in the background, but hopefully now we can try and call Given, see if we can get some version of a presentation going, because I know he's been waiting now. Okay, Given, we're calling you just now. So hope you're ready. Okay, 3, 2, okay, this is just, let's see. Producing or presenting is not available. You can join us live. So I think what happened here is that Given tried to send from either his PC or his phone, and it wasn't allowing him to do that, which is a shame. Let's just ask him to join here and see if he can, because I'm assuming now he's limited by what he's using, whether it's Linux desktop or his phone. Hopefully, if we can call him, he can still try and present from there. Let's see. Okay, let's see here. There's just more people again trying to just work out some issues with my camera, because I think a lot of you guys have already seen that I'm having problems with it. Here. Okay, let's see other issue. Okay, Given seems to have not answered our call last time. Let's try and call him again. Seems that everyone's having network issues today. Actually, I'm noticing a lot of people are talking about it in the chat. Really sorry about that. Yeah, someone actually just contacted me in another chat going like they had answers to all the questions, but unfortunately we had passed them already, which is a shame. I don't want things to go that way for anyone. Let's see, is there anything important here? Let's see. Let me see something here. Let's go back to the call. Let's see. Sorry about that. I noticed when I checked Given's side of things, there was a bit of an issue with my call. Still nothing on his end. Okay, let's see here. Someone call? Okay, so I'm receiving a separate call. I think that's given. Let me see. Hey, man. Hello, can you hear me? Hello. It seems you're calling my personal phone, calling my personal Teams account instead of the main call. You can't receive calls from the main call anymore because I'm actually trying to call you there, but it seems like it's not working. Yeah, let me try to call you again and see if that can be done. Cool. Okay. Seems he was having issues there. Let's see. Seems like we're really having issues with Given's call. And I was thinking maybe the best way to go about that is we try and see if we could send a video. That's probably easier now that I think about it. If he can send a video of his presentation, then we can just play it from this side, and it's not as fun. I'm not even going to deny that, because I would have preferred if it was more interactive. But let me see if I can get him to do that. But whilst that's loading, I think another thing that we can do is at least load up what I was trying to show you, which are the AI applications of Python. You see here, load this on. Sorry, actually load this on another, because I had loaded it before. Right. All right, so yeah, Given is actually going to record in the background for us, and then we're gonna continue from this end and just get stuff done from there. So, let me see here. This one's actually not bad. There's a video that I watched yesterday, but unfortunately I can't seem to find it. It came up right at the top of Google search, to be honest. But all right, let's see if there's, okay. Let's see here. All right. Seems this is actually failing to load up, but okay, it seems to be okay now. Yeah, network issues are really plaguing everyone today. It seems even my PC is slowing down. Let me switch views for a second. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Just give me a second to sort out all the videos in the background and have everything working. Then we can jump back into the more fun stuff, I guess let's call it that. I think it's the more fun stuff. Hope it is. All right. Okay. This is loaded. This is working now. This is good. Okay. So I'm going to jump into. Okay. So there are multiple languages. After all, artificial intelligence, machine learning. This is more than just a small little part of what is this? Of computer science and computing and technology in general. It's a very, very, very large part of where we are going to move forward with the multiple technologies that we'll deal with in our lives. So machine learning and AI are key to a lot of things that seem to be determined by the future of tech. And Python has become a very, very, very popular part of a lot of programming languages that are being used for AI or for machine learning. So let's start with this AI and Python. Why? This is from QLogic, by the way. The obvious question that we need to encounter is why we choose Python for AI over others. Python offers the least code among others and is in fact 1/5 the number compared to other object-oriented programming languages. No wonder it is one of the most popular languages in the market today. So this is just about Python in general. But Python also has pre-built libraries such as NumPy for scientific computation, SciPy for advanced computing, PyBrain for machine learning, Python machine learning specifically, and making one of the best languages for AI. Python developers around the world provide comprehensive support and assistance via forums and tutorials, making the job of the programmer easier than any other languages. Python is platform independent and hence one of the most flexible and popular choices for use across different platforms and technologies, with the least tweaks in basic coding. Python is the most flexible with all others. Of all the others, with options to choose between OOP's approach and scripting. You can also use the IDE itself to check for most code and is a boon for developers struggling with different algorithms. Right. So that is the basics of why, among other things. I'm gonna jump to another one, and actually, sorry, this is supposed to be. No, not this one. Okay, let's see here. Let's move that away for a second. All right, so I'm going to try and put some closed captions here or subtitles. Hopefully they're there. This is a video. Let me try and activate system audio because that'll be required here. There's a video about Python being used in machine learning and finance. So let me switch screens for a second and work on some settings because I usually turn off system audio. All right, so it seems like Given is actually online now. Let me see if he's ready to send something. Maybe he's not, that's fine. Let me work on my system audio. I think that's more important for now. Stop sharing this. Share the same screen again, but this time including system audio. Please tell me if you guys can hear this, and if you can't, tell me in the question and answer session, or I guess for those who really have to, you can try and text me on WhatsApp, but I often prefer just talking in here so that everyone knows what's going on. Given is still recording, so yeah. Okay, let's jump back in.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to share top 5 applications of Python, artificial intelligence, and machine learning in finance and the banking industries. So what really is AI and ML? AI is the science that empowers computers to mimic human intelligence, such as decision-making, reasoning, text processing, and visual perception. AI is the broader general field that entails several subfields, such as machine learning, robotics, and computer vision. Artificial intelligence market worldwide is projected to grow by $284 billion, driven by a compounded growth of 43.9%. So let's get started.
The first application, robo-advisors, artificial intelligence and machine learning have become really powerful in providing investment advice to customers. Robo-advisors are financial advisors that do not entail human intervention and are based purely on algorithms and mathematical formulas, such as artificial neural networks. Robo-advisors work by consuming client current financial status, target expected return, risk appetite, and financial and life goals, and automatically provide accurate financial advice, such as portfolio allocation. Essentially, how much do I need to invest in bonds, stocks, real estate, and wealth funds are two of the top investment companies that rely on robo-advisors to provide financial advice to their clients. These robo-advisors are trained using millions of clients' data, and since they continuously learn and adapt, they will be an indispensable tool for banks and financial institutions. The second application is robotic process automation. Python and machine learning are being widely adopted in finance to automate various processes to reduce time and cost. Process automation could be in the form of paperwork automation, chatbots, and customer service automation. Natural language processing techniques are being leveraged to extract useful information from documents, perform topic modeling, understand customer sentiments from tweets and news, respond to customers' queries, and process legal documents. Robotic process automation is crucial for banks and financial institutions because it can dramatically improve efficiency and reduce costs. And the third application is fraud detection and security. Machine learning could be used to automatically detect fraudulent transactions, detect suspicious transactions on customer accounts, and stop transactions until further information is acquired from the customer. Machine learning classified models are being trained on millions of fraudulent and non-fraudulent transactions with a goal to ensure prediction accuracy and reduce false positives and false negative predictions. For example, Amazon Web Services, or AWS, offers a fully managed service known as Amazon Fraud Detector that uses machine learning to detect fraudulent transactions in real time. Using Amazon Fraud Detector allows companies to easily deploy the service at scale without the need to build, train, and deploy AI and ML models from scratch. Check it out using the link below. The fourth application is high-frequency trading. AI and machine learning are used to analyze historical stock price data, extract new sentiment, current market trends, and predict future price movements of securities. Algorithmic models are being trained to execute thousands of buy-sell trades at a fraction of a second, which is known as high-frequency trading. Two strategies work very well with securities trading. First is deep neural networks that rely on artificial neural networks, specifically using long short-term memory networks, or LSTM networks for short, with high-frequency trading. The second strategy is known as reinforcement learning, in which an agent is placed in an environment with a goal to maximize cognitive reward. The fifth application is insurance and loans underwriting. Insurance companies and banks rely on machine learning to assess clients' risk and decide if the client qualifies for a loan or insurance policy based on his or her features, such as historical data, credit score, income, and debt amount. These algorithms are being trained with millions of data points to automatically perform credit worthiness assessment with machine learning, with minimal to no human intervention. And that's all I have. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like the video, please hit like and subscribe for more videos. Thanks, and see you next week.
Okay, so that was a little introduction to that, and that of course was mainly based around Python being employed in finance, or rather Python and machine learning and AI specifically being employed in finance. Now, I'll jump away from the rest of that. Sorry about that. That's the rest of my YouTube that's, well, doing what it does. Let me see. Let's just go back to what matters here. I have another specific article now that I would prefer to show you. Let's see. Let me back here. There we go. Okay. So this is from Django Stars. It's a site that's essentially mainly based on Django. Now, Django, for those of you who knows, it's essentially a framework that's used by Python. A lot of people mainly use it for web development, but it is still capable of being used for, of course, what is this? For, oh, great. Just got a message from Given. I think he's sending us something there. This would be a GitHub link for his project, and apparently he wants me to just present it there. Okay, fine, you can continue. But first, I'll run through this. Okay, so I think I'll have to run it, unfortunately, from this side. And then we'll actually, I think, make another video of it, just so that this is easier. I'm sorry, Kevin, I know this was not the way you wanted to go about things. But okay, this is essentially about 8 good reasons, again, why Python is good for artificial intelligence and machine learning. I'm not going to go back into that. More of just general cases for artificial intelligence and what people have rushed to use it for. So already transportation, right? Self-driving cars are a thing. They literally would not exist without artificial intelligence at all. Assisted intelligence now, which is more of technology automates subsets of claims. This is for insurance projects, insurance processing and insurance claims processing. Life sciences, so health monitors, adverse drug effects, an algorithm-powered bionic pancreas that regulates glucose, which is actually pretty amazing. Right, top 5 benefits of AI: enhance current products, which is true. Things like cars and even other things like gaming, where we're used to AI. Imagine if some of the enemies there can get smarter. Though maybe not too smart. People always get scared about this Terminator scenario, but that's likely not going to happen, but still. Optimize internal operations and businesses, yes. Make better decisions when you have better data that's been better analyzed, yes. Optimize external operations and free workers to be more creative. If the mundane tasks are now being handled by a software product or a program, then you can do some more creative things. Right, now, this is of October 2016, market share for AI, for programming languages that are being used for AI and machine learning. There's Python, there's R, there's Java, JavaScript, C, C++, Julia, and Scala. Reasons, we've already talked about this, the great library and ecosystem. So Scikit, Pandas, there's Keras, there's TensorFlow, exactly what I was talking about a lot. It's very, very, very popular right now. So there's a low entry barrier just because people find Python to be much easier. I mean, this is Python code for an AI program, and if you read code for other AI programs, it might scare you. flexibility, of course, object-oriented style, performative style, platform independence, so it's not tied to any one thing. Readability, again, due to low code. Good visualization options, community support, growing popularity. There's a lot that we can jump into, but I really just wanted to get you excited about using Python for machine learning and AI. Now, whilst maybe you guys can, let me see, here's a good part for you guys to read, because what I'm gonna try and do is, I'm sorry, you're gonna hate me. I'm gonna make some of you read just a little bit, just a little. Don't be too scared about it. Let's see here, 2, 3. Let's see here. This is Python being used in healthcare. Right. Useful open source projects to just check out for Python. Whilst I actually try and run the GitHub project for Given right in the background here. Okay, let's jump into this. Okay, give me something, please. Try and run this as fast as possible. Not important. Okay, there you go. Let's see. All right. Unfortunately, it seems the fact that I'm running this video code whilst trying to connect everything is causing a few issues. Let me just read this read me here and make sure I know everything that's supposed to be done, so that I make sure I don't get anything wrong. Right, Python script. All right, to clone this repository. Okay, so this should be just pretty easy. Okay, let me see here. Now I'm cloning his repository, and that should be fine. Okay, all right. I think this is working so far. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna put it in the same area that we're writing. CMD. All right. No such. Just you might be able to actually help me out with this. Just remove the file and then run it as pip install. Okay. Yeah, pip is the one that's not being recognized. Because I remember, let me see here. I'm gonna have to search up Windows all the time. Yeah. Yeah, there should be. Okay, all right. Let me see here. Okay. All right, so I think I actually have to download this. Set this up. That was actually something that I hadn't done. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, that's set up. Sorry guys, there's something that I actually had to get, which is see here. See, is it? What's wrong now?
You download the file into
Yeah, I put it in the Python folder actually. Same one I was using. See? Get pip.py.
but
You also have to navigate. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Let's try this again. All right. Great. This is installing. Get pip.py. Why is it showing me? I think something might have gone wrong here. Because it's showing me first number as if I'm running exactly. Something went wrong here. Something definitely went wrong here because it ran another program instead. Why is it running new.py? No. Which one was it? It was numbers.py, right? I think I might have to delete this. Likely the two files have the same name. Let's try this again. Oh, there's a lot of troubleshooting that's just happening today. Okay, there. Now everything's running. Installed. It's not on path. It's redirecting this directory to path. Sorry? So I feel like that's why there was an issue. But okay. Yeah, and then sort it out. Yep. See if I can do that. Environment variables. No. Then it would just start. Oh, if I was using Linux, I wouldn't have to do this. You know, if I was using Linux doesn't. Please. Yeah, I've learned to get used to that. People are always all over Windows. So, you get used to it. Okay. I think this is okay. All right. Okay. That's saved. Okay, let's try and now work out that old pip command. It's still not working. It's apparently having issues with running this. Yeah, setting up. Close. Yep. For this, yeah, this part I'm using pip install, etc. Okay. All right, I think we're on to something now. No, could not find a version. What I need to get TensorFlow again.
Is that our TensorFlow is failed? Is it tight? Need to get that out.
Let me see. Where?
The version of TensorFlow. Is that
Yeah, he wrote TensorFlow exactly. Thank you. The amount of troubleshooting that is going on today is crazy. It's okay, and now it's showing 2 requests for some reason. Right, we're good here. I think this is how it's supposed to be. Okay, finally setting up.
it's always advisable to do that.
But
They show you very much.
it is. Now you're telling me this. Now you're telling me this.
I'm not sure these are harmless.
I hope it's harmless, because otherwise I'm gonna have to just start deleting some things again, and I hate doing that. I hate doing that. Okay, let me actually show you guys a bit of what's going on here.
In the global environment was nothing happened.
And hopefully that's what happens again.
That's when
You'll just have to delete everything and start again so that you put up the other project. Okay, so for those who can see what's going on here, I have actually downloaded, I'm actually downloading the whole repository for starters with TensorFlow and then setting up a Given's project here so that I can try and present it from your end. Fortunately, we actually hadn't tried to trial run this with them, which is a mistake on my part. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully you guys will understand what's going on here and have enough interest to continue. Okay, let's see. Okay, right. SSDs, that's where they come in handy. That's where they tend to come in handy. Not only I love developing on this little thing, but it's not perfect. It has its limits, like every machine. Okay. Okay, so good thing is Given even hard-coded. Okay, let's see here. All right, everything should be great. So I believe all I'm supposed to do is try and run this from here. Copy paste the code again. Let me see here. It's not yet. Okay, let's let it finish. Yeah, it does seem like it's. Seems like it's done though. Successfully uninstalled setup tools. Yeah, that's the great part of running things in command, right? But you know, it's not always easy for everyone to jump into that. Okay, I think we're good. Let me see. All right. Okay. Now I think we're done. Now I think it's done. It's definitely done. Let's see here about running this. 3, 2, 1. Please don't blow up my computer. Syntax command is incorrect. Python G project.py syntax command is. Oh yeah, Linux, exactly. It's just supposed to be Python project, exactly. So as you can see. No, that's not what it's meant for. Okay, let's see. Try and present this. It's still saying, what's going on here? Python project.py, unless I'm supposed to remove where it says question. I had left it because he did say there's some part of the question which is hard-coded, but now I'm thinking about it. It's probably just there. Sorry, let me try this. Okay, yeah. He'd actually already given me a correction in the chat. 3, 2, 1. It's saying there's no such directory or file. Let me see here. First this. What's going on with it? See if we can try and fix that.
Did you found that?
Yeah, I cloned, I think, everything. Let me see here, because unless, oh wait, let me see here. I think I know what's up. Okay. Okay, where am I supposed to clone it? Where should I put it? Thinking here and then CMD. Okay. Let's see here. Right, it's done. Good. Right, there we go. Running into Genius. Okay, great. This is done. Let's see if we can now try and. Oh yeah, that's actually CD Genius. Okay, we're in Genius now. Let's try and run this. After a bit of a struggle, let me leave where it says. I think it's just it's fine. Let me delete the Python, right? Python project py 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's see if this runs. Okay, now it's downloading this. More information. Okay, it seems like the question itself isn't working out here. Let me see what's wrong. Attempted to load. No, TK.
I think they're supposed to give the question to the question button.
Let me see. Let me see here. Okay, let's see. It seems like it's supposed to find the question and then run it and produce the answer. So I don't know. Let me see if Given can help me out here. He's probably seen it. Okay, so attempted to learn 93 monetize punked English pickle ltk.org data. Let me see if I need to fix something else up. Right. Okay, let me see here. Run again, running your Python Ripple, import NLTK.go. Okay, I've already done the git clone part. Seems like let's import NLTK. I think that's the natural language part. I think that's what needs to be done. Import NLTK. I will admit that there's always the interesting differences between, Python can't open file, import NLTK. See, I'm going to need Okay. Okay, I'm going to need to see some differences in syntaxes here because there are some commands which are much easier if you're just running them in Linux, or at least not easier, but a learning curve. I'm used to doing this on that side. I'm not used to doing it here, but that doesn't actually mean it's actually harder in Windows. In fact, there are a lot of things that tend to be easier, but I just need to put that. Okay, so I think what I need to do is actually run interactive Python first, which is fine. This is something we've learned today. So think about it. We're actually going back all the way back to interactive Python, which we were saying is mainly just for running your basic controls. Let me just go back to this. But as you can see, it all comes full circle. When you know your basics, then only then can you actually like continue to learn everything else. So let's see here. Let's go back into interactive mode. Okay, now in interactive mode, let's see. Port. Okay. All right. And that's done now. NLTK.download. Okay. I believe that's what it's called. 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. I was downloading those packages. Okay, done. Let's see if we can finally get to running that question. Now again, change the syntax because let me see. There we go. Let's see. I was saying run Python first, the interactive Python, then run those in the Python terminal. No, or not. So I think you guys can realize this has actually become a bit of a learning experience on my side because it's become a little interesting as I've had to learn a few things, but I find that's obviously the bitter part of everything that we're doing here because it becomes a lot more interesting. Now, surprisingly, I'm getting some people in the chat again. Let me see if I can just sort that out for a second. Nope. Okay. Let's go back to here. So let me see. Close them. All right. Let's exit this. Okay. So we're gonna close command prompt, restart it, and then try all of this crazy, interesting stuff again. Right. Let's see here. Don't worry, we're still here. Let's just load something up here. Let me first make sure command prompt is working, and then we can actually get things started. Let's see if my camera is up. Is it working now? Not. Still not. Need to get this camera fixed. Okay. Let's go back into this. All right. CMD this. Let's see here. So now let's try and run our question again. Let me just set it up and show you guys. See if it's working again. Okay, you guys can see the window now, I believe. Okay, let's see here. There you go. Okay, Python project.py. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's see here. Package is already up to date. Downloading error. File project.py 160. Print summarize article. Okay, so I think I might have to re-download the repository actually. I think he sent me a message to re-download his repo, so I think likely there was an adjustment made and it's best we follow said adjustment. So okay, copy this, try it. Git clone. Okay, let's try this again. Games already exist and is not an empty folder. I'll have to just delete the old one, I guess. That it would just allow me to overwrite it. Can I? No, because need to make changes. Yeah, I'm admin. What is your point? Let me see if I can close this for a second. Okay. All right. Let's see here. We can just okay, sorry guys. Let's reshare this window and finally try this again. Alright, then git clone. Okay, cloning into Genius again. Alright, this is done. CD Genius. Okay, let's try run this one more time. Question. See if this is running properly. 3, 2, 1. Seems like even when we clone it again, there is a issue here. It seems that there might have been some problems in the code for everything that was supposed to happen.
Just ask me how to run the command.
Yeah, let me actually show. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show one more video on the applications of Python in AI. And in that, okay, there we go. Okay, there you go. I think, unfortunately, we're still having problems with the program that was supposed to run from Given here. Maybe it's because there's something wrong with the syntax, or there's actually just something wrong with how I set up TensorFlow, which is a shame because it seems that I'm going to try one more thing, which is just to set things up in order, and hopefully there might be things, but if there isn't, it seems now it's acting as if I don't have an internet connection. Okay, so yeah, fine, so yes, works, and cool. Seems now I'm having connectivity issues. Wow, okay, this is unfortunately a lot of errors that we're not supposed to have, and there's a lot more problems here than I would like. Start by trying to load GitHub, because it might be. Okay, so GitHub is working. Let's try this again. Git origin main. Now it's working. All right, fine. Let's try this again. Okay, finally. Seems we can finally fix something, but it seems like unfortunately it's not bringing out the questions answers. It's only writing Googling, and then that's about it. I'm gonna try and run this again, because maybe it's my internet connection. Yeah, unfortunately it seems like there's still a few issues with this whole program. Then run again, try and run this again, try and run this again. And it's bringing me back to my original point. I think we're just going to switch back to learn here and continue with finishing this up. There's still a lot more actually, learning the Python basics with Wonder Woman, which is more interesting. It's honestly more interesting. In fact, let me switch some things here. And I like this whole interesting little collaboration that's happening here between, I guess, Microsoft and Wonder Woman of all things, or Python and Wonder Woman of all things. Let's see. Jumping back into the branches here. We're using Python, there we go. Okay. So I'm going to show you where we start with having, or rather using Python for oh wow, Sorry, I had an error. Sorry about that. Sorry, I had an error. It's sorted out now. Okay, so this is about exploring and analyzing data with Python. It's part of, it's part of the following learning paths, which is creating machine learning models. So we've talked about AI, we've talked a bit about machine learning, but maybe just to clarify between the two. AI is artificial intelligence, so that's essentially the general movement that's being made to make computers think and work more like humans, or work in ways that humans cannot work, but essentially just based upon how they process data and bring out their own results. Whilst on the other hand, machine learning is about machines actually learning, right? Being presented with data, being able to analyze it, come out with results, and come out on top. And there's, of course, explore and analyze data with Python as the first thing, but there's more. There's training, evaluation, regression models, classification models, clustering models. This is all based on Python. There's even more to learn. Let's actually jump back to here. If I go to all my paths, and let's see here, Product, Azure, Visual Studio, this is just, so this is about Python specifically in relation to Azure and Visual Studio. But all of these are all parts of what you can learn with Python, or through Python rather, everything that's based on machine learning and AI. And there's more, some which you can check out on Microsoft Learn, and some which we might not necessarily need to. And this is actually something that might be fun for some of our members who have played around with it. This is about building an AI web app using Python and Flask. So this takes about an hour, 15 minutes. I would suggest we obviously go to the basics of Python, then go through building machine learning models, and then jump into this. But this is all stuff that we can definitely jump into more in our coming weeks. Our next, Given just sent me an explanation here. I'm sure he'll fix it and sort it out. We'll get a video and put it up on Microsoft Stream or the WhatsApp and Microsoft Teams groups. I'll send out links for those. I know some people have actually just joined, which is crazy, but I'm grateful for everybody who has decided to attend. Thank you for that. I'll leave a few moments for questions now, if anyone does have questions, so that we can continue. But if you don't, I totally understand. This has gone way over the time limit that we're supposed to go, especially with the up and down electricity and network problems. I mean, I just had one right now. But to anybody who wants to quickly throw in a question, or for a question and answer session, you can do that. Then I can continue, and we can shut things down, or something along those lines, rather, in today's session. I'll wait, but if not, I totally understand. Okay, let me see here. Is there anything? Just use the question and answer section. I mean, some of you might not be able to see it. Let me see here. Let me not share this screen. Let me share another. Share my desktop. Let's see. So if you're using Teams, you should be able to see. Fortunately, the icon is gone as soon as I start projecting the screen, but there should be a chat interface that's right at the top. It has a question mark on it. And if you click that, you can use the question and answer section. If not, then it's fine. We can totally close it. We did have some questions. We did have some time to talk before. And I think that was great in itself. And I'm sure most of us now at this point need to finish and continue. Again, there will be a recording of all of this. We'll streamline it, not have as many delays that happened. And it'll be easier to watch. I'll share links, of course, in the Microsoft Student Ambassadors HIT WhatsApp group. And I'll share, I know apparently some people from UZ joined. Thanks for joining. I'll send you some links to your lead, Takuto, so that we can help you out there as well. And yeah, I think that's the basic gist of everything. Thanks for everybody who joined. Thanks for being with us. Thank you for spending some time here. All your help is appreciated. Next week, or rather not next week, but the next session we should be back to C#. We're gonna do a web app there, and then maybe touch on just a little bit of Xamarin before we do proper Xamarin development. I've actually been working on the Xamarin app for about the past 4 weeks now, so hopefully it's ready to show by then next week or one. But thanks for your time, everyone, and thanks for joining. 3, 2, 1, and end.